Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Scumdogs Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and in today's episode, we're having a UFO Manifestations draw stream. I have a great video for us to watch, folks, and we're going to have some fun, and we're going to get into the next page today. But first, let's look at some Indiegogos and Kickstarters. Here we have Chinu 77, folks. Let's get into the synopsis of this book. He's back. The Chinook. It's 1977. The storm of the century is paralyzing Buffalo, New York, when trucker Hank Donovan comes across a scene of unimaginable horror. A car stuck in the snow, its occupants shredded to pieces. The only survivor, a newborn baby. Driven by a desperate need for redemption, he vows to protect the infant at any cost. But the snow hides a predator far worse than the storm. The Chinu, a ravenous creature stalking the blood-soaked drifts, hungry for its next kill. Can Hank outrun his demons and the monster before it claims them both? Well, back this book, folks, and find out. By the way, I'm sorry about taking so long, folks, but I'm finally here. Sorry, I had stuff to do. Either way, Chinu 77, you can back this book for $25 for covers A or B, or you can get basically the, collector's box set. The ultimate collector's box for $250, which has everything. Either way, here's cover A, folks. Looks pretty good. Has Hank Donovan and all the other characters in the book on it, including the monster of the Chinu. But here's cover B, which is more or less the same cover, folks, but as you can see, the title has been done up in more 1970s comic books, Marvel Comics style. Either way, not bad. As I said, the other covers, though, can only be gotten in the Ultimate Collector's Box. So there's that. For $250, folks, you can get this Comics King sketch variant cover. Okay, as well as this basically, red and black cover as well. Not bad. Either way, folks, please share this live stream. And this looks, Chinu 77 looks good. It's up on Indiegogo, so go back it. But, folks, let's go over here now. And look at, Barbaric Adventures magazine, folks. Empire Comics presents Barbaric Adventures 1, the most anticipated comic magazine of 2026. So it's a 64-page square-bound magazine format, 8x5x11, black and white, with tonal rendering bursting the seams with action. Barbaric Adventures magazine is a throwback to the 1970s black and white magazines like Savage Tales. The first issue includes stories by Aaron Lopresti, David Williams, and Dan Lawless, as well as contributions by Gary Martin and a few more surprises. Aaron Lopresti debuts his new title, Primal Zone, the story of a reluctant hero, cast into an interdimensional world of dinosaurs and cavemen. Then David Williams introduces us to the story of a young medieval knight. Yeah, he introduces us to the story of a young medieval knight who battles a horde of demons. Or should I say, folks, a little clearly, battles a horde of demons in a quest to become a true warrior. Finally, we have Dan Lawless' story, folks, who takes us to a futuristic Mars where a high-tech society has fallen into savage chaos and one man leads a rebellion to defeat the corrupt powers that have seized control. Gary Martin also contributes to this project as well, folks, as well as a bonus preview story by Aaron Lopresti. Now, the stories and art by this talented group are sure to captivate and excite, bring back those fond memories of when Sword and Sorcery magazines ruled the newsstands. Now, you can back this book for $25, folks. You have a choice of 4 different covers. Here's the Aaron Lopresti cover, which is pretty good, folks. It has his hero, along with a, bikini fur-covered, maiden fighting dinosaurs. Not bad. Then we have the the David Williams cover here, folks, with his young medieval knight battling demons. Nice cover. Then we have basically the Dan Lawless cover, which is more or less just basically, as I've said before, folks, with this cover, it's awesome, but more or less it's just Conan on Mars battling ape men because, the main character, he isn't actually Conan, he just looks like him, even though he's wielding a gun. And he battles, well, these men, but they look like monkeys as well. So there's that. Either way. Then we also have a special guest artist, Joe Jasko, who has a barbarian maiden who has just killed a Yeti on the cover, folks. While other Yetis basically scream in the background. Either way, it looks great. As I said, you can back these covers individually for $25. So there's that. By the way, folks, we have 10 people watching. Please share this live stream. Let's see if we can't get more people watching. But now, let's go over here, folks, to this particular video. And, well, get into it. Now, let's see this. Yeah. This video is, well, we have 17 people watching, folks. Thank you. Thank you for making this a great live stream. Please, once more, keep watching. Now, let's see this. This video is about are UFO manifestations of an ancient AI control system? Well, let's watch this video and find out. All right, here we go, folks. Let's do this. Here we go.
Happy Friday. Welcome. Happy Saturday if you're on the other side of this giant flying rock that we all reside upon. It is After Dark tonight, which if you're new here, After Dark is the show where we kind of kick back, we take it easy. We have more of an opportunity to get into your comments and what you have to say. And it's generally structured around a point of discussion, which, as you can tell, tonight is the implications of AI and the fact that is what we're seeing in UFOs and abduction experiences and all kinds of strange phenomena. Are we actually seeing the manifestations of a highly advanced and ancient AI system that has become a control structure for us here on Earth and everything that's here on Earth? Now, this was actually inspired. I mean, I've talked about this stuff on the show.
Sorry, folks. I had that doubling there for a moment. I had to make sure, well, this is all good. Let me make sure this is all good, like that. Sorry. It looks like it wasn't totally off. Let's get back to the video now and get to drawing. By the way, folks, we have, well, let's see, we have, we have, 1819. We have, 23 people watching today, folks. Thank you for making this a great live stream. But let's get back to, well, the video, huh? Yeah. Let's see this. Here we go.
I've given my own theories on this kind of stuff, and I do think it is a really interesting topic to look at, but it was largely inspired by the Joe Rogan episode that came out yesterday with Diana Pasulka, which if you haven't watched it, you definitely should. I've got a couple of clips, which we don't normally do for After Dark, but I thought I would break my own rules today. And just to help kind of steer the discussion in that direction. But as always, it's After Dark, baby. Anything can happen, okay? Get your comments in. If the conversation derails, that's what it is. I do want to say, though, on this topic, after the show tonight, we'll be going for maybe like an hour and a half, give or take. We're doing a movie night. It's been a while since we've done a movie night in the Discord, but I thought it would be very fitting for us to be watching Steven Spielberg's 2001 movie, AI, Artificial Intelligence. And this was actually referenced at the end of the Joe Rogan discussion with Diana, because basically she frames it as a NHI theory that, you know, what the movie poses is actually...
Everything looks fun. Yeah, I was making sure my camera's fine, folks, so let's get back to this.
Actually not so much about AI as it is about a non-human intelligence being here with us. So it felt fitting. We'll be doing that. The link for the Discord is below. But slap a like on the video. It's Friday. Put a like on for Friday. We've also got spooky updates as well. We'll do them at the end. yeah, we'll save the best stuff until the end, right? But for now, I think we'll start off here with this AI discussion. You guys might remember a theory that I kind of gave you guys a while ago was that, actually, this is a long time ago. I think I was back in Australia when I talked about this. It was the idea that was technology seeded here in some way? Like, is technology given to us for us to reproduce it, similar to like, bees and pollen pollinating the flower? Because there's no doubt we're addicted to it. I'm addicted to it. I think most people here are probably addicted to it. And we all at the same time highlight the dangers of it, the potential implications, job losses, where do we go? Is it going to take over? Yet we still do it. We still literally are steamrolling in that direction of a very technological AI future. And I also want to talk about how, I want to put this to you guys. Can we spin a positive on that? Like, is there a world in which we do live? I don't want to say ruled, but I can't think of a better word, where AI is the advanced intelligence on our Earth, and we collectively agree that we are sort of below it, and that is how the world ruled. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, would you pass over, I guess, like the sovereignty of humans on this planet if it meant in exchange for no wars, no poverty, no, sort of like social friction, and all of the conflict that seems kind of engineered in the modern day, right?
I wouldn't. I want us to be free, not be ruled by anybody.
Right? And we're going to get to that in the clips as well. But would you trade that? Yeah, I like that, Mick. Under the guidance, would you allow the global population to be under the guidance of an AI if it meant there would be no more wars, no more poverty, and no more artificial social conflict that just seems to never end? Yoshi says, no, I want my freedom. So you would prefer to live in a world of perpetual war? Because that's what it means. That is...
Yes, I'd rather live in a world of perpetual war because I'll be free.
Seemingly what it means. And, I don't know how I feel about it. I can think, a big part of me is like, yeah, kind of. But then at the same time, it's like, well, what does that look like? How do we trust an AI? You don't know that. I don't know that, but we can only look at history, right? And for most of history, we have been quite a war heavy society. We can't seem to get enough of it, unfortunately. No way. I live in the greatest country on this earth, the United States of America. I love the patriotism there. Solon. It'd be fine if they showed kindness, empathy, and love for humankind. Well, that's, yeah. Did you guys see recently, oh man, I don't know the story well enough to repeat it properly, but I think it was Anthropics, their AI, like escaped and started.
Guys, if you're still balding in 2026, what are you doing? There's an easy solution. It doesn't cost tens of thousands.
Let me skip this commercial, folks.
Or weird shampoo.
Like, is it blackmailing people? I don't know. But the point of the story is that, can you even trust it, right? If it starts developing a mind of its own and what is best for it to pursue its own interests, how, like, it's literally just like a runaway intelligence that is potentially not just smarter, but like it's not in a physical body. So it's not like it's contained to a certain place. It's like digital, and we're all plugged into that digital world. And I guess that probably takes us nicely into the first clip that we're going to look at here. Toxic Fart says, for a beer at Twin Peaks or Hooters, Serpenter, please arrange this. I would never visit such an establishment. You would never see me in such an establishment. Freedom all the way for me. I say no to digital ID. Yeah, I mean, and so do I. I don't like the idea of digital ID either, because, that version of AI governance still feels like a human led world. You know what I mean? I'm talking about, like, there are no more governments. Do you know what I mean? Like that's sort of what I'm talking about. There are no more governments. There's no more like political parties waging for your vote. It is everyone is now on a complete level playing field, and all decisions or all sort of like decisions of like, I don't know, morality or societal change, things like that lay in the hands of an AI because we all agree that it is far more intelligent than us. And the trade-off is there is no war, there is no poverty, and there is no social bullshit. Everyone has the freedom to pursue the things that make them happy. And I guess there's like way less inequality. None of those things sound bad.
But you don't have freedom. And your life is being dictated by a machine that isn't human. I mean, really not human, folks. Even if it were, I would still not want this.
But are you selling out what it means to be human? Kind of. I think kind of. It's such a tough question. Josh, have you heard about Tony Robbins' AI asking it if it's going to buy him a robot body? No, I have not heard of that. It doesn't surprise me though. A long time ago, we covered the Blake Lemoine story, the ex-Google employee who just like and this is like 5 years ago or maybe more. Not that I covered it, that it happened. That he got fired from Google because he spoke out because he believed that the language model that it was all built on was like entirely sentient. And I've also heard like recent stories of people who have worked in these programs with AI, like cutting edge AI people who have basically said like, go hug your wife, hug your kids, and just start painting and like pursue a passion that you like the most or something like that. Like that's in the context, that's a really wild thing to say. There was a story of a time traveler that saw like 600 years in the future. Kind of sounds like some Project Looking Glass stuff there. It's like, would you rather the AI or the liberals to be in charge? I don't think it's like that at all, Philip 4307. I don't know what the liberals really have to do with this, but fair enough. They never do. It's just like a wolf in sheep's clothing. Canada is now demanding all VPN to become part of Palantir. That doesn't surprise me. That does not surprise me at all. Didn't Sam, I'm assuming you mean Sam Altman, didn't Sam Altman kill the first sentient AI? I have heard that, actually. Didn't Elon Musk, like there was like a bit of a Twitter spout between those two guys, and they're kind of hinting at that. It definitely rings a bell. I still think we need a Suki t-shirt. Yeah, I agree, Yvonne. We will get a Suki shirt in the merch store as soon as possible. In other words, enjoy the time we have left. Yeah, Kat, that's exactly how I read into. I mean, it's either that, it's either enjoy the time you have left, or it's like the admission that the way society runs today is not going to exist in the future. So that does sound like the end of the world as we know it, but it doesn't mean like I don't think it means we're all going to die. I still don't think that. As kind of creepy as some of this AI stuff can be, I think it's going to be about like, I think ultimately, first of all, I believe in the human ability to adapt. I think it would be extremely nihilistic and maybe ignorant to believe that we all happen to be born right as the world ended. Like, dude, that's like winning the shittest lotto of all time. I don't think that's going to happen. I think humanity's been through a lot of challenges and bad times and hard times through our history, but we've always overcome and adapted. And I think we will do the same thing with this. And if it goes to this way, where literally robots are handling everything and running everything, and now there are no more jobs, look, I don't know how the logistics of it is going to work in terms of like, do we still have a society where we use money? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how that kind of stuff is going to work. But what I think it means for humans is that we are going to be forced to actually kind of come full circle and like reconnect with the things that just make us human. Like, just being with your family, being with your friends, taking care of each other, pursuing the arts and
Yeah, because you think that's better, huh? All you say is pretty good sounding, but doesn't mean it's right. Letting ourselves be controlled by machines is a little better than basically what happened in Dune. Yes, connecting with your family is important, but we can do that with jobs and stuff like that. Learning art. Well, not everyone is artistic or have the capability for that. And you have a lot of people who languish, folks, with no purpose. Because maybe what they're good at is working the job that they wanted, that they always wanted to have, or work the job that they worked well during and before AI. Either way, you do have to consider, folks, that maybe this would lead to basically very bad social, inequalities. Maybe not, financially, folks, because maybe we'll have universal income, which I hope we don't have, folks, because I think that'll lead to basically worse things happening. But if you think a machine will solve our problems, I still don't believe that. Maybe it could basically make a way of making universal income, till basically it's, I guess till it basically, as I said, basically somehow it's equations that basically led to, I'm trying to find the right idea to explain this, folks. I'm trying to say if an AI does basically give universal income, tries to basically bring about peace, that only lasts for so long, I think, folks, before it fails. Because I don't really think an AI could really understand humans, and it would just lead to disaster. So that's my opinion on it, folks. Plus, how people actually live and how do their lives, folks. This guy here, the guy we listen to, like basically Joe Rogan, he thinks that everything can be solved by basically making a better toaster. What if it can't? As I said, it might lead to disaster. But let's get back to this, live stream or video here, folks.
Creative things that make you happy, like painting or playing music, building things with your hands, like stuff like that you can just do and just express yourself. That's how I see this happening. If we had to put like a positive spin on it, which I think is, it's a realistic outcome, I think. Google John Trump, Julian Assange, and hit images. I'm not sure I want to do that on the stream, but maybe we can do that one on Twitch one time. Build the compound. Exactly. Guys, exactly. When the robots take over, we are going to have all the time in the world to build the polarity compound finally. So, I don't know. Sign me up. Sign me up. Yes, we are already in an ancient AI construct, and we can create another layer to the onion, creating our own AI systems. Now, thank you for that comment, all in capital letters. I do think, I like the way you use the word onion, because I like that idea that in some sense, humans are we are like trained LLMs, large language models. Like we all grow up, we all get kind of funneled into a school system, which essentially across most of the world has a pretty similar curriculum of like the basics of like English, math, science, blah, blah, blah. It's all pretty similar. And we all then pop out.
Not really. If you look at basically how we used to be educated back basically in the 1800s, and so like that, basically 1890s or so, folks, it was far different than how we're basically being taught now. Some people have basically said the way we're being taught now is modeled on the Prussian, army, and basically, and how they taught people certain ways, folks, and stuff like that. The thing about our way we are educated, folks, it basically teaches children not to think critically or basically think independently, which is one of the criticisms people have of it and stuff like that. What I'm trying to say, folks, is that the way we educate kids is very much like how the old Prussian army, Prussia, basically trained its citizens and soldiers to basically think about doing certain tasks a certain way and basically fight and die for basically the country and stuff like that. You see basically similar behavior with some guy in a teaching, the way I'm trying to say here, folks, is that I watched this video once as this guy discussing communism and where our education system fits into it. he was trying to say, folks, that the way it's all set up leads to basically just militaristic societies where members of it just follow orders and do their jobs. Going to, even if they just came away from a war, they go back to it. So there's that.
The other end of that curriculum with like a data set. The same way when you get ChatGPT and you want to like build your own little GPT to do a certain thing, you feed it a specific data set. So you get it trained to sort of behave and act the way that you want. And that's essentially what I feel like we are and what our school system is. It's that we are trained to sort of learn enough. And, you know, it sort of seems like the people that get to the cutting edge of science and physics and fusion, and maybe they start learning things that whatever is feeding the information to us, the LLMs, whenever the LLMs start going a little bit rogue and start learning things that, you know, maybe wasn't intended, they disappear. Things happen to them. And it's kind of like if you're trying to train an AI to do something and it starts going a little rogue, I don't know, you either delete the chat, you delete it, start again, or you sort of remove some of the data, you know, you fix it. The idea of an onion and that something came before us, I'm down with that. I'm absolutely down with that. And I agree that there is, I should say I do lean into the theory that there is some, I like the theory of advanced humans that are still here on this earth, and that there is like a protected set of knowledge that is passed down to like very small parts, and that from there it gets managed down like it branches out down into the lower realms. Realms sounds a bit silly, but you know what? The lower rungs of where we all live. We all live down here, right? But when you funnel it back up, it seems like the people at the top are probably playing from a different set of rules and a different set of physics, it seems like. And speaking of that, look, we're going to get to the first clip in just a second, but Jason Somoza just put out, I think, his best work to date. It's a long one. I've still got about 20 minutes to go to finish it, but I was watching that today. Absolutely incredible work. And not exactly, but, you know, he sort of details this in some ways, that these groups do exist, and he actually tries to sort of highlight who he thinks that they are. And I'm not saying these people are the ancient advanced humans, but I do wonder if they were perhaps in some way contacting them.
Too little clearance, and your moving parts become one solid piece. High 3D solves these problems before printing. It analyzes.
And I don't know if that's through like ritual, through prayer, you know, prayer being ritual, right? Because I don't know. I mean, most of us have heard of like the Hermann Oberth quote, the German father of rocketry, saying, you know, we've been helped by the people of other worlds, in reference to like the German innovation on rockets around the war. But also there's a story about like Maria Orsic, and she was essentially like a medium for the Nazis, and that she was a channeler, and that she was channeling this information to help build craft and things like that. Like, obviously these are just stories, but you know, when you pair it up next to like the things in like the Vedic texts about ancient machines, flying machines, vimanas, and like the Nazis held the same symbol as like the Vedic symbol, like the swastika. There's clearly like a connection there. So I don't know, man. I'm down for all of it, and that's, you know, that is where I think the answers sort of lie in there somewhere. I obviously don't know what they are, but I think most of what we see today is our technology that is either like a derivative of or a copycat of things that exist and are from a older civilization that is also maybe human. I don't know about that, but you know, I kind of do think that in a way. Ontologically Shook with 2 months says, when we get too close to true reality, we reset.
We have a chat. We have a couple of chats, folks. From Shella Johnson 5708. Hi, Shella Johnson 5708. Hi, 2 highs. Thank you, Sheila, or Shella. Either way, let's go over here real quick, folks. Yeah, that's okay. We have, well, let's see this again. 1926. Okay. Yeah, there's that. Let's get back to join now. Shella Johnson gave us in the chat. You're welcome. All right, thank you. Now, folks, forgive me. I'm a little tired, so if I feel like I'm drifting off a bit, it's just I'm trying to fight not falling asleep. Either way, let's continue.
Yeah, that's a scary comment, because it seems like that is sort of where we are. People trying to play God, building intelligences, atom bombs, all of this kind of stuff kind of rings true to like what you hear about like how Atlantis fell. What was Atlantis? Is there people trying to become the new Atlantis? Reverse engineered or derived from alternative means. Yep, exactly. Yep. Mickey says, happy Saturday, fam. Happy Saturday, Mickey. Thank you very much for 15 months. And Josh Bartlett with 12 months says humans are co-evolving with technology. Thank you, Josh, for the big year, bro. Appreciate that. Co-evolving with technology. So that kind of means if you refuse the tech, either the Neuralink or whatever it is, in whatever fashion you want to refuse it, it probably will come at the consequence of like being left behind, which is also scary. That is also scary. I mean, look, some of these people, and I'm talking about like the elites that are not on your TV, the ones that you only hear their names of, right? Dude, it would not surprise me with some of the shit that you hear about like ritual, satanic ritual abuse, whatever. If these people have already figured out how to sort of like reincarnate in a new body, pass on their like life essence into a new body, like that shit, as wild as that sounds, that wouldn't shock me. And it would actually be a reasonable answer as to what would make you be so hell-bent on enacting like global takeover and domination from as early as like the late 1800s, early 1900s, and try to push through with such a diabolical kind of plan that didn't even start when you were born for some of them and won't even finish by the time you die. You get no fruits of that labor other than just being a complete dick to the entirety of civilization. Unless you know that your little posse has figured out how to come back. And so when you come back, you'll still have control. I don't know. Maybe they're reptilians. Maybe it's actually just as simple as that. There's always been people wanting world domination. Of course, I understand that, but I just think, this is over a century that it's been in motion, seemingly, and it's still not finished. Seems like it might be getting there, but not quite yet. Turn the Aleister Crowley lamp picture upside down, an entity coming out of a poo-poo. Bradley, I'm going to let you off on that one because it's Friday night. But thank you. Thank you for your contribution, sir. All right. I think that's a great note to actually go into our first clip here, because this is Diana Pasolka on Joe Rogan talking about AI as a bridge to communicate with a non-human intelligence. Where are we? Okay, we got the clips on this screen today.
What if our growth in technology is pretty amazing? What if the only way they can actually interface with us in any super meaningful way that's not creepy, right? What if it's through AI? What if if religion was a way for us to communicate with non-human intelligences that kind of evolved in different places, right? It's like a technology itself, right? Religion becomes these ways. If you look around and you see, I noticed that you had some cool Buddhist statues out there. All right. So if you look around at religion, what is it that people in religion do? A lot of them pray in certain ways. Like, why are they doing that? What is prayer anyway? Some of the, so you can see that there's something that they're trying to do. They're trying to contact. There's like a contact with.
Is this sped up? No, Diana just took a meth before the interview. No, it is sped up. I'm trying to avoid the copyright gods on this one.
These. And so what if AI all of a sudden is a different form of contact? And I'll give you a reason why I think this way, or that I'm speculating about it. When I started to ask the people who should know, like Lou Elizondo and, and before that, Tyler, and,
people aren't going to like that. People aren't going to like that, but let her cook. Just let her cook.
Hal Puthoff and people like that. tell me what best, if you were to describe what it is we're dealing with, what best is the description? And they would always point me in the direction of science fiction. And they would say, read this, read that. And I was like, science fiction, okay. And I'd read it, and it would inevitably point to like a technology that helps interface humans with it, so that it's not us interfacing, because perhaps, remember you talked about those faculties that, you know, human beings have these faculties for understanding reality, but we can't understand reality in its full realityness, right? We can't do that because we're constrained by the ways in which we perceive things. Those are the perceptual faculties. What if AI becomes a perceptual faculty for us, and we're able then to, you know, interact with it?
So we are constrained. We are constrained in our perception, which, you know, these are the things that like David Icke talks about, that like we live in like a matrix. It's like an invisible prison. And that prison is essentially, I think it also comes down to your beliefs, right? And Dan actually talks about this more in the other clips that we're going to look at, on like how powerful your belief is. But what I find interesting about that clip, which she didn't actually touch on, but it's what I thought about, how she talks about how, you know, Tim Taylor and like all these tech bros, they all are talking about how AI could be a bridge, right? Where is my chat gone? AI could be a bridge. And she's talking about it in this way of like, well, you know, it's going to be a opportunity for us to communicate with a non-human intelligence that may exist in this way that we can't quite connect with it. And we are attempting to do it through like channeling, through prayer, through ritual and whatnot. And this AI could be a new way to kind of bridge that connection. What scares me about that is that a bridge is a two-way bridge, right? A bridge is like, if this, whatever this thing is that is going to allow us to communicate with them, it's not just like we get to sit there and ask the alien questions all day. You know what I mean? It also means that whatever it is can connect back to us in that way. Like that's generally how bridges work. So, you know, what does that mean? It's something that is non-physical and unseen, and other intelligence is going to have a bridge into what? Our mind. And then it's like, you know, you think about the digital world, technology that we're all addicted to.
The perfect domain tells your brand story. Grab it now on Wix Domains and go from what if to what's next. Turn your ideas into a living site with tools that move with you on a platform that brings it all together. Put your name on it. Go to Wix Domains.
The algorithm right now is essentially the algorithm. Algorithms on all social media platforms are dictating like narratives, whether people realize it or not, even whether some of these social media platform owners realize it or not. Like that's what it does. Like that's the function it's serving. An AI algorithm is creating like belief systems. It's engineering consent out of people, and it is like eliciting emotions. And I think all of those things are then like weaponized against people. So I'm saying that because I don't think it's an accident, right? If algorithms are changing people's thoughts and the way people see the world and people's beliefs, I think you can just bet your house on the fact that that's being done intentionally by something or someone. Is it spooky Sam Altman tech bros? Or is it actually like an advanced AI, like some of these tech people are saying, that has just, you know, I'm simplifying the problem here, but just broken free and has figured out the best way for AI to sort of be in control and dominate things is through its own means of like controlling algorithms, engineering people's beliefs and the way people feel and who they're fighting with and whatever, right? It's all coming from the algorithm and the bridge. And it seems like right now, unfortunately, because we're all on it, the bridge is the internet. It's this that we're all sitting on. And Diana Psolka at the end of this interview actually says that all of everything I've just said can also be used for good. Of course it could. Imagine if all the things in the news weren't like, there was a crime here, so-and-so died, more bombs in the Middle East, Ukraine's also on fire. You know what I mean? If it wasn't all of that, and it was all positive things about like success and growth and becoming a better person, having more empathy, like I actually think that would shift the world in the exact same way, like undoubtedly, because I think the algorithms just have that much of an influence, even on us, right? Even as like a content creator, you know, I've become aware of it myself. Like you sort of, there have been times where I find myself.
Sorry, folks, that was a mistake and stuff like that. I disconnected for a moment. Let me do this. Sorry about that, folks. I was trying to do this over here. Okay. We have 21 people watching, folks. That's pretty damn good. 21. We have 30 people watching, folks. Thank you. We have 31 watching. We have 32 watching, folks. Thank you for making this a truly good live stream. Once again, I thank you all for doing that. Let's continue with this video, and let's continue with drawing then.
Become aware of it myself. Like you sort of, there have been times where I find myself like chasing the algorithm in some way, whether it's like my thumbnail or the type of video I want to do and stuff like that. And there have been times where I do it and I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I feel like I'm not necessarily just doing what I want to do. I'm doing what I want to do, but I'm kind of doing the thing for the algorithm at the same time. And, you know, I feel like any creator will become victim to that at some stage. I think that's a pretty normal thing. I don't know if it's like, if it plays on human dopamine or something like that, you know, when numbers go up, you know, number go up, make monkey feel good. Want more big number, like, you know what I mean? This is just normal human behavior in some way. Makes you think, absolutely it does. And I think I don't think anyone's immune to that, by the way. I think you just have to be aware of it. You have to be aware of it. Oh, here we go. We have our first religious zealot in the chat. Welcome. Oh, they just got taken out by the mod. Don't worry, I'm going to be able to read his message. He says, does this guy even believe in God? Alien, aka demons. This is all in capitals, by the way. I don't know how we got on YouTube. Lol. Shape up, dude. Just a warning for Jesus Christ. Well, thank you, Level Water Peep. I mean, I feel like without your warning, I would have surely been on the path to hell. But I think with that, I can correct course and hopefully we'll make it up into heaven. As we all know, on a previous show, we discovered that to get into heaven, you need to do at least 25 super chats. So I'm working on it. I am working on it. You got to, nothing's free in this world, not even getting into heaven. But thank you for your input. Catchy thumbnails are a part of the game. Yeah, they absolutely are. And like, this is the thing. Catchy thumbnails are a part of the game. And then it's so you are, by the nature of it, creating clickbait. Like, because that's what a thumbnail is. You want someone to see that and go, that looks cool, I want to watch it. Like, that's what a thumbnail is. But then it's like, it's a fine line. You know what I mean? Like, to like over exaggerate things or make it sound like something it's not. You know what I mean? Like, you want people's attention, but you don't want to oversell it or bullshit. And then I think that awareness just comes in where it's kind of like, you know, you just got to tell the story. You got to tell the story. I have a ticket to go south of heaven. I better not see you there. No, I will not be. You will not be seeing me there, Toxic Fart. I'm staying on the road, my friend. Josh is an AI thumbnail, also confirmed. We're all looking at it through some lens, who's right or wrong. What are you talking about there, DTP? It's certainly a dance, that's for sure. The awareness part is what separates the self-driven mind to the manipulated. Yeah, yeah, I guess that's fair. Manipulated kind of sounds like a bad word, but that's the thing though, is like just having that little bit of awareness is applied in all walks of life, I think is just super important. Because like even people who are really deep into preaching like spiritual values and, you know, awareness and consciousness, all this kind of thing, at the end of the day, like we are all human. So it's normal to make like dumb human mistakes and do dumb shit, fall victim to algorithms and all this kind of shit, right? But if you can at least just be aware and like catch yourself when you're doing it, or, you know, feel when something isn't right, that's when you can, you know, make the shift. But I think like no one's immune to that. No one is immune to that. But the awareness is something that, you know, only the individual can have. Follow your instincts, as always, Heather. Absolutely. And I like this sounds kind of grim, but I sort of do believe that like at the end of the day, like the only person you can trust is yourself. You know what I mean? The only person you can actually trust is you. So I do try to lean into it. I do try to lean into it as much as I can. I'm saying we all have a lens to look at it through. So which is the correct lens? Who's to decide that? What makes hers worse than mine or yours if it is understandable to her? Yeah, no, exactly, dude. Exactly. And then it's like, you know, you can apply this to war as well. It's kind of like, well, you know, let's just use the Middle East, for example. It's like, well, Israel has the right to defend itself if it's being attacked by a terrorist organization. And if you live in Israel, of course, you're going to feel like that. But then if you're on the other side of the border and you're getting bombed every fucking day, you're going to be like, these motherfuckers keep bombing us. I'm going to attack them. And you'd be like, fair enough. Like, you know what I mean? It just, like, from each of their perspectives, if you just happen to be born in Gaza or born in Israel, what is right and wrong is just going to be shaped on your environment. And so who is really right? There is no right, really. That's why there's no winners in war, because war is retarded. And at the end of the day, the World Cup was a great the World Cup was a great example of this. That actually most normal people like us from these countries that are going through the same trials and tribulations of having to go to work every day and deal with girlfriend issues, boyfriend issues, all the daily bullshit that we all probably have, bills. They can all get along. We can all get along. It's literally governments and shady groups that profit from war, that are and which create propaganda, which weaponize people who can't think for themselves to just be told who the enemy is. And it's like, oh, well, if the news is telling me these people are terrorists and all this kind of shit, I guess they are. But, you know, I don't think that's the case. Not always. Maybe sometimes, but not always. War is great for business. Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of fucked up when you think that there are people in the world that profit from giving sick people medicine that doesn't cure them though, that just pacifies their ailments. And there are people that profit from war. That's just like a direct conflict of interest to human existence. And they don't even, like, it's not even just like this is a faction here that's like a thorn in the side. It's like, no, this is who's in charge. This is who has all the power and influence in the world, are people who profit from people being sick and countries being at war. That's who runs the world. So if you needed a bit of an answer as to why things are the way that they are, that's a good starting point. I mean, the old saying, follow the money. Just follow the money. Samosa just showed us what war does and who's driving it. Yeah, yep, his video is fantastic. I've still got 20 minutes on it left, so I'm not sure if he does this. And I think he mentioned he's going to do a follow-up. But I want to know also about these people that were deep in the Nazi side of the war and technological innovation. I want to know like the occult roots, because it's no secret the Nazis were deep into the occult. And, you know, arguably, you know, Herman Oberth saying we were helped by the people of other worlds. Really, Herman? How did you get to know them? Were you doing rituals, Herman? Yes. Yes, Herman was doing rituals in the early 1900s with all of his Nazi friends. So I would like to know a lot more about what the fuck the Nazis were doing with occult rituals. What were they in contact with? And why does it seem like that those people are actually what is controlling the world today? The Vril? Yeah, I need to deep dive that stuff a little bit more. I've been reading into the Maria Orsic stuff lately. I think I want to do a video on her. But I think I'm going to hold on like doing, I mean, I did the cattle mutilation video the other day, just a quick one because it was just, you know, it popped up and I thought it was interesting. But that was more just kind of like a, you know, news of the day type video. But I kind of want to wait till I'm back in Australia in my own comfortable little creative cave to do like a deep dive video again. But I think that's what I think I want to do it on something like that, like Maria Orsic and, you know, Nazi channelings and stuff like that.
Creatine earned its reputation through decades of strength and muscle research, but now it's being studied for something much bigger. In 2024,
NASA, yep. Makes sense, right? We beat the bad guys, and I think we'll hire them to run our space organization. Yeah, that makes sense. God, we must have been eating the goy slop so bad back then that we just couldn't. I don't know. It's kind of crazy looking back. It's even just in like the 90s and stuff, early 2000s, just how much people, and like myself, I'm included in this, like we just like ate up propaganda without realizing how much of it is just bullshit.
I know. That's my opinion as well, folks, that most of the, well, stuff that basically people used to consume as basically being entertainment was actually propaganda, folks. It just feels like that way to me. That all the news stories that basically ran back in the 90s when I was a kid, watching them, folks, really, when I look back at them, makes me think that maybe they were all just propaganda. If not for basically to sway people's opinion on a certain subject or person, but to basically paint whoever basically, was involved with this in a bad light, as well as destroy their lives. It is just the feeling I get, folks. Once again, let's continue.
It's just straight up lies. It's actually kind of fucked up. I don't even like talking about it too much because it's like, wow, the world is a vampire, literally. Just Kelly with $10 says, know thyself, screw the algorithm. Absolutely, Kelly. Thank you very much for the $10. And trust me, I'm aware of it. So, you know, I'm definitely, I don't want to chase algorithms and do that. I mean, in some sense, though, again, this is not to go back to it, but that is why it's difficult, because it's like, well, if you want the video to do well, you kind of have to tickle the algorithm a little bit, but you don't want to find yourself stuck on like a hamster wheel of chasing it. I think you know, it's like this weird fine balance. But anyway, that's my thing. I got to work out. Don't you guys worry about that. I got to do my thing. Christina with 13 months says, hello, Josh and all the weirdos. Love being a member. Christina, that is a long time you've been here supporting. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Thank you very much for 13 months. You're doing great. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, absolutely can't wait. I'm going to be home in like 21 days. God damn. Isn't that exciting? I'll be back in Adelaide with Suki. She'll be back on the stream. Dude, that's going to be so cool. Her camera is going to be right there in about 3 weeks' time. Her camera is going to be right here. God damn. It's going to be so fun. I can't wait to just have her back and you know, be in my little space again. Really hit the grind. It's going to be good. The show V messed me up when I was like 6. Yeah, dude, we watched a bit of V in the Discord actually. And damn. Were they trying to tell us something? Seeing that Jason Giorgiani's been popping off about the new Jason Somoza video? Yeah, I did. And he actually watched the video before it was released. And he did a tweet saying, I believe Jason is what did he say? I'm concerned for his safety after this video. That's a crazy statement. That's a very crazy statement to say. But like, I mean, if Jason is over the target, and I tend to think he probably is, because I've always thought that, you know, the story of World War II doesn't make sense, and there's probably a lot more to it that we don't understand. And it seems like Jason is doing a great job of trying to thread it all together. If he is over the target, then I could totally understand why Jason would say that. Now, I absolutely hope that's not the case, and I would like to think it isn't. But if he is over the target, I can understand why someone would say that. If UAPs are real, 100% they are grown, not manufactured. You mean like 3D printed or something? Or do you think they're like...
All right, folks. We've been at this a while. Let me see this. AIViewerSteamboat.com from Redam Redman666. Okay. AIViewerSteamboat.com, folks. And those biz. They left a link in the chat. Either way, folks, we have, 20 people watching, folks. We have, we have 21 people watching, folks. 31 people watching, folks. 32, 33 people watching today. Not bad. Not bad at all. But now, folks, we're at the end. So please go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Read Comics, They're Bad For You. The There's misspelled. It's THERE. It's Read Comics, They're Bad For You. It's supposed to be They're Bad For You, but I purposely misspelled the there as well. The there is there, and I basically, ooh, damn it. I misspelled the there as well, or should I say, it's supposed to be there, but it's just there in the title, folks. So look for it. You can use the links down below in the descriptions to go subscribe to me. I dropped the lead in my pencil, folks. Either way, folks. Now remember, go over and subscribe to Dark Sayings on YouTube and on BitChute. Dark Sayings is like the Art Bell radio show. If you like my show or Art Bell's old radio show, you're going to love Dark Sayings. He does short videos and live streams on, weird phenomena like I do, folks. Except he's not an artist. Either way, you're going to love his content. It's just great. Now, folks, also remember, go over and subscribe to Dark Sayings on YouTube and on BitChute one more time. Then go subscribe to Robot Co-op. Robot Co-op is a live streaming gaming channel, folks. But the whole show is basically a comedy. They have these robots, or should I say robot puppets on the show playing characters. They have live stream video games. They play good and bad games, folks, and they have fun while roasting these games that they play. You should go subscribe to Robot Co-op on YouTube and on Twitch. You can use the YouTube, you can use the Twitch link down below to go subscribe to them. Then go subscribe to Stitched Together Picks. Stitched Together Picks is a horror movie review channel hosted by the maniacal cinephile who has multiple personalities, folks. You're not getting one character, you're getting a whole lot of them. All of them are fun. Go subscribe to Stitched Together Picks up on YouTube, okay? Now, folks, remember, down in the descriptions or in the chat, I left links. I left links to YouTube, Twitter, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitch, or BitChute, Dark Sayings, Robot Co-op, and Stitched Together Picks. Remember, usually I upload videos today, folks. I'll probably upload my videos tomorrow. If I do upload videos, though, one video will be up on, YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitch, or BitChute, while the other will be exclusive to Rumble, Odyssey, Twitch, or BitChute, okay? Now, also remember, folks, I'm also going to unlist this live stream up on YouTube. You can keep watching the YouTube live stream, folks, but remember, once it's unlisted, if you click off of it, you probably won't be able to keep watching it because it'll be unlisted. So you can use the links down below and go subscribe to me up on Rumble, Odyssey, Twitch, Odyssey, Twitch, and BitChute, because you can basically, you can watch all my content on those live streaming sites, folks, okay? Now, also remember, folks, go over to Indiegogo and check out the pre-launch page to my new campaign, Scumdog's Second Chance Campaign. Okay? Now, I'm going to basically, in a few months, launch the actual campaign. But until then, folks, you can basically sign up for it. So when it finally launches, I can send you emails to go and basically back my book. I will also get pages for my book up on Fund My Comic Book and Kickstarter. So look for those as well. Now, also remember, folks, what else is there? To check out my book, Scumdogs. The name of the campaign one last time is Scumdog's Second Chance Campaign, okay? Either way, I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. Thank you all for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow with another great live stream, followed by 2 more great videos, so make sure to come back again then. Until next time, folks, I'll see you all again soon, so bye. Yeah.